Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Man, We're Too Old for This, here on the Nerd Eternal Network. I'm your host, the experienced some call Jason, and with me as usual is...
CDL 113, the droid you're looking for.
The token unwilling VTube fan, Tarky.
And the Todd Father. Boo.
Boo indeed.
Howling. Boo.
Yeah.
Yes, we're... as of this episode dropping, it should be 2 days for Halloween. Unless I get really lazy or something and don't get up in time.
Which could happen.
It could. So, in the spirit of the holiday, we're going to take today to talk about our favorite, I was going to say Halloween movies, but I guess it may really just be horror movies. Horror movies or Halloween movies. Who wants to start us off?
I guess I will.
Alright, go for it. Age before beauty.
Say what?
He's at 8.
I said go ahead. Start.
Age before beauty.
No, he's at 8 before beauty.
Yeah. I guess one of my favorite horror movies to watch around the holidays is the Bram Stoker's Dracula. I was, growing up, I was a big fan of like the horror novels and stuff, and then the old, Elvira, Up All Night kind of stuff. And then when they redid Dracula several years ago, Keanu Reeves and crap, I had the
Gary
guy.
Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman. I had his name in my head a while ago, and it's like then Anthony Hopkins, all them. They were just great castings for the roles. And it's one of those classic stories that has held up through the decades, and they just did a great job with it.
I think my favorite remake's Franklin Jella. Just because that was the one that came out when I was a kid. Fucked me up.
Which one was that one? My brain is
the dude that played Skeletor.
okay,
Langella came out. It was that when it came out. I want to say they actually called it Dracula '79 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
The one I couldn't take Mina. When you find Mina, when Van Helsing, they have to actually go like down into the grave, and she's tunneled and all that kind of crap. Like you'd seen a glimpse of her because she'd snatched somebody's baby. You see her dive out of a window and run out, but you don't get a good look at her. And I remember in that horses could be around vampires, and like they go to a grave, and the horse starts pawing at the grave, and it's dank, musty, and all that crap. And they dig down up under there, and she had tunneled like underground from the tomb, and they run into her there, and she's bleeding out of her eyes. And Papa, I was like, nope, done. F this.
How old were you at the time?
In '79, the absolute oldest I could have been was 8.
I remember watching that one at my cousin's house on one of the movie channels. The year after it came out, and unlike Todd, there were some scenes in that movie was like, ah!
Like I said, Dracula himself did not scare me because you never saw him in that one. You never saw him horrific. Now he did messed up crap. You saw him climbing up the walls like a spider and shit like that.
It was his.
That was the one where it was the romantic. He's there in the full cape, and it's the weird love scene with the psychedelic like lights and smoke all behind him and shit. Yeah, that part. Yeah, I can give a damn about.
It's the vampires he made or
Mina. I ain't give a fuck about nothing else. Mina was the creepiest shit. Mina is still one of the creepiest goddamn vampires I think I've ever seen in my life. That bitch was rotten, moldy, bleeding out of her eyes, little pin light. Fuck that shit. I was like, hurry up, stab this bitch.
So it's like Dracula had time to learn how to fake being human.
Yeah.
But his newer ones couldn't.
She was damn terrific. Like, shit.
Yeah, you got the classic Bram Stoker Dracula book. I can't remember the name of the author that wrote it's called the Dracula tapes or the Vlad tapes or something like that. And it's recordings that Mina Harker did throughout her life and tapes that Vlad did throughout the tail end of things. and you find out Dracula never died. He just faked, letting them stake him, and he waited for Mina to die. And these tapes were left to Mina and John Harker's kids, and they're finding out from them that, yeah, I loved your father, I love Vlad, so I stayed with your dad so I could have you. When I die, I knew I was going to become a vampire, and that Vlad was going to come, collect me. And it's just told from this really weird perspective, and it's like, okay, so everybody died for nothing? Trying to kill Dracula. Yeah, he could have just went, okay, I'll see you when you die, and go.
The one that you actually picked, the Bram Stoker's Dracula movie, is actually a little bit closer to the book.
Yeah,
and they mix in the actual historical Vlad Tepes.
Yeah, because the book I don't think ever directly ties Dracula to Vlad.
Doesn't. But the things that the characters are more the same, because you have like the cowboy and all that.
Yeah,
all that's from the book.
Yeah, all that is from the book.
Because Dracula don't get staked in the book; he catches a Bowie knife.
Yeah,
Cowboy puts one in him
as he dies.
Yep.
Yeah. In the book, the only ones that make it out are Jonathan, Mina, and the doctor. But he's dying as the book ends. Everybody else in the little hunting party died. But where Mina got bit in that second book that I was talking about, that was written by another author, you find out, when she died, she was going to turn, and she knew it, because Dracula could talk to her telepathically.
So it's a happy tale.
Yeah, a lot of people have gone all over the place with that story, though.
Yeah,
great. Well, you could always do the goofy ones with like Mel Brooks, Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Oh yeah,
fucked up. And the one you never hear about anymore, Love at First Bite.
The Eddie Murphy one?
No, that's Vampire in Brooklyn. Vampire in Brooklyn's a horror comedy. I'm talking about Love at First Bite, where it's George Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
One where he turns into a bat and he flies into the people's apartment and they starving and they like, ooh, gets the big chicken.
Yeah. yeah. I'd forgotten about that one.
I think that's also the one where the guy runs, the quote-unquote hero runs in and shoots him 3 or 4 times in a restaurant with silver bullets.
Yep.
He just calmly sits there. Silver bullets are for werewolves. Oh.
Yeah.
And then the guy that just shot him and has freaked everybody in the restaurant out and starts shouting to the people in the restaurant, "It's okay. Silver bullets are for werewolves. He's okay."
Yep.
Because him and whoever's helping him, by the end of it, Dracula and the chick he's after have turned into bats and flown off, but he left his cape behind, and they're like trying on his cape.
Yep. Yeah.
The Vampire in Brooklyn, that one was one where when he gets shot, I've been shot, he rattles off all the ways people have tried to kill him.
Stabbed, poisoned, broken on the rack,
drowned.
And it was something else, and he was like, I've never been shot before. Kind of itches a little.
Yeah. That, and then the scene at the church.
Yeah, the Eddie Murphy morphing thing makes that one count. He did good, doll face. He deserved every piece of that palm that caught his face.
Yeah.
All right. Todd, what's yours?
I'm going with the Thing.
The original thing, or
not the original Thing from another world, not the god awful Mary Elizabeth Winstead prequel, whatever the fuck that was supposed to be. But the 1970s John Carpenter's The Thing.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Kurt Russell.
Was that 70s or was that 80s?
Huh? What'd you say?
I said, was that 70s or 80s?
It may be, it's either late 70s or early 80s. Maybe early 80s. If it is 80s, it's mad early on them.
Yeah.
82. So yeah, you're real close.
82. Okay, yeah.
See, the only reason I really know about that movie is because there's an Arctic research station that every year after they get their last, they get a resupply, and then there's a long gap between where they get no information from the outside,
Mm-hmm.
where they marathon that movie. They play that movie, like the moment they are all alone. There's no way for them to contact anyone.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, oh, let's watch the movie. That is the closest horror film to what our experience is going to be. Real quick for the fun of it.
Yeah. For me, that version of the thing, my mom was a big sci-fi movie buff. So I had seen The Thing from Another World with James Arness and kind of went into that movie expecting that.
It was not that at all.
Because, the poster, you had the guy standing there with the sun for a head, the star for a head. And I'm like, oh, it's somebody playing the same role as James Arness. It's a plant. I mean, it was a blood drinking carrot, but it was essentially a carrot. Yeah. It's a space carrot. And
that's not it.
I'm gonna let that thing come on HBO, and me and Mom are like, ooh, it's The Thing, because she's all excited. Oh, they did a remake of The Thing. Sweet. And we'll sit there and watch it. Oh, my God.
Cronenberg's everywhere.
Damn dog's head is busting open and shit. We're like, what the hell is, I'm little, so I literally can't go, what in the hell is this? But I'm just sitting there like, I ain't sleeping. I ain't playing I'm looking at my dog funny. You gonna go out and play with the dog? No. You want the dog in the? No.
Yeah, I'm like you. I was young enough that I watched it on HBO or Cinemax, whichever one it came on, at my cousin's house. Because, our weekend things were either he was at my house or I was at his. And if there was a big movie that we wanted to see coming on, we would do it at his house and sleep over. And that particular one, you had my cousin Adam, me, my cousin Jim, and my cousin Chris. We were all sitting there, and that movie come on at night. We're watching it, and we all let out that blood-curdling scream at once. My aunt come walking in there. What is wrong? Are y'all killing each other? No, it's her and my Aunt Robbie and my Uncle Terry had already watched it at the theater, and she went, oh, okay, well, just keep it down. And she just walked out of the room because she knew we were going to be on the edge of our seat.
Oh, well, these little fuckers ain't sleeping tonight.
Yeah. We watched that movie every night. And we didn't want to get up and go anywhere by ourselves. Like, after the movie ended, we're like, my cousin Jim's like, I got to go to the bathroom. When do y'all walk with me? We ain't going in that dark hallway.
Ain't going in that dark hallway, and I ain't going to be alone with you. What the hell you are? But yeah, it had, for a kid, oh, and it had some of the greatest damn scenes ever. The dude, when they doing the paddles.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I didn't think I was ever going to get.
Yeah, that was the scene that stuck with me.
Yeah. That was the one that you sitting there going, this movie is just completely.
Mm-hmm.
The screaming blood. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I can literally remember the next day on the basketball court, me talking to the neighborhood kids who else said, did you see that movie, The Thing? Oh my God, that damn thing. Yep. That was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. That was horrible. I'm sitting there still like, it was supposed to be a carrot, a space carrot.
Yeah, because in the original movie, it was really just kind of Frankenstein looking, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was James Arness, the guy that played Marshall Dillon in Gunsmoke.
Yeah, well, probably the tallest actor they could find at the time.
Yeah. You know, 6'something, he was a good-sized dude, but yeah, he looked kind of like Frankenstein, and he had like rose thorns on his knuckles. You know, he was hell on a dog. You could he ripped off the dogs when he killed them and ripped off one of his hands. And the scientist type takes that. You end up finding out that it drank blood. So, you know, that's why that version of the thing killed people, is it was drinking them.
Mm-hmm.
And it would make them reproduce, because you find out the scientist, in typical 50s scientist form, basically goes, some kind of damn alien monster. I think I'll grow more of them. Yeah. So he had like he had like a little garden he was starting that he got from the hand. He's trying to grow more of them. And they burn all that crap. And they basically, when it's all said and done, they wire up a hallway and electrify it and get him to come. They make it where he has to come through this one hallway, and they basically burn him to a cinder.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of it. Yeah, that new version was like, sweet Jesus, what the hell? What kind of damn microscopic nightmare is this?
Yeah.
I'm 48. I still don't know what the hell that thing is.
You're not supposed to.
Hey, it's just like, well, what the hell is it doing? Is it eating people? Is it a microorganism?
Well, that was basically it. Every individual little piece of it was kind of its own organism. It was like it was a colony organism.
Yeah. Because it is, when they do the paddles and then that exposes the mouth, which bites the dude's hands off, which infects that. Because anybody that like it bit, it would infect them too. Yeah. So it was like, Jesus. And then when they try and burn the body that had the mouth, that had grown another critter out of the hole, then that dude's head pops off, grows legs and eyes, and starts skittering out the door.
Well, that's why the big thing in it was we can't let it get away from this base.
Yeah.
The cold was all that had contained it for all these years.
I think it was the original Xbox, or maybe in the Xbox 360.
Yeah, they had a game.
They had a video game. It was based on the original John Carpenter version, not the remake they've done there recently. I rented that and I played it, and it had been years since I had seen the movie, and I'm sitting there in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. I'm back in that room with all my cousins, and I'm like. And, I'm sitting here in the living room in the dark playing that game, and Jennifer come through and flip the light switch on. I screamed like a little 5-year-old girl. And she's like, what is wrong with you? You scared me. Don't do that.
The PTSD. The PTSD.
That prequel they did, though, they gave it some weakness and shit like that because it couldn't handle feelings. So, like, if it killed you and you had feelings and shit like that, yeah, that's what they were doing. They were going along, like, checking teeth. Open up your mouth. Let me see your teeth. And all that. And I was like, fuck that. That takes some of the...
Yeah, that takes some of the threat out of it. Because what if you showed up on the thing and you had perfect teeth to begin with?
Well, then you'd have perfect teeth in your dental records.
Yeah. And that was the thing, is they were doing all that kind of shit, and it goes here, there, and everywhere. The only nice thing about that is you see the dog. It ends with one of their dogs running to the camp.
Yeah. And
the guys up in the plane trying to kill it and getting shot themselves. Yeah, it ends right there. So it's like, hey, it's neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's mine. I started to go Alien. I started to go It. On the thing.
All right, Tyler, what do you got?
Well, I have the thing that I have to have because of my age, but there's also something I want to make mention of very briefly that saddens me deeply about Halloween.
What's that?
It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. It's not going to get shown on TV
it's not going to come on TV. It's on
Apple
Plus.
Apple Plus.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. In fact, all the Charlie Brown holiday specials are going to be on Apple Plus.
Yeah.
Regular TV.
Big company throwing their money around.
It's been on TV since the 60s. And it's just like, no, let's just screw a perfectly safe tradition that hurts no one. We want this privately.
Hey, 2020. Oh. Hey, let's get rid of the fucking Charlie Brown holiday specials. Yeah.
But no, it's not even my go-to. It's just when I hear Halloween, this movie pops up in my head because of Cartoon Network's absolute lust to show it every single day during October is Scary Godmother, which is basically small bullied girl falls into a Halloween world where she has a scary godmother who's just like, oh no, you should have a better Halloween than this, and they set up a better Halloween for her and scare the crap out of her brother and all this jazz.
Oh, I think I have seen that. Not the entire movie, but
if you flip to Cartoon Network, well, I mean, it's like
I recognize the really bad CGI.
Yeah. Well, at the time, it wasn't the worst.
That's true. That's true. It's not much worse than early seasons of Reboot, I guess.
But it's just that is so embedded in my skeleton at this point. For Halloween, it's just like, oh yeah, Scary Godmother's going to show on the TV a whole lot. Which would have been the same for Charlie Brown. It's a great pumpkin, but it ain't no more.
I sense a little bitterness coming from.
I don't know why.
And
This angers me so much. It's like I've seen it once.
If he starts saying "get off my lawn," I'm gonna be scared.
Like I've seen it like maybe once in completion, but I'm just like, it's Charlie fucking Brown. How do you take Charlie Brown and go, oh no, I'm privately commercializing Charlie Brown?
Yeah, that's some genuine bitterness right there.
Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of pissed off when it moved from CBS to ABC. What the fuck's it doing on ABC? That ain't right. Been on CBS damn near my entire life. The hell is this bullshit? And then, they would do it and add like shit to it. It's like, that wasn't bullshit. Thank God I've got it on DVD. And cassette. Get in my goddamn mind. It's on here free somewhere. You actually go to watch The Great Pumpkin? No! That means I can't see my Christmas dance, you bastard. I can. I have Apple Plus. I got to do iPad if you're watching. And hope they have comments, you rotten bastard.
So it doesn't really affect you, but you're still offended by it.
So other than those two,
this doesn't affect me because I will not watch it. But like, the Peanuts has always had a place in my heart for no good reason. I think mostly because it's one of the first comics I ever found out they did reruns of in the paper.
Yeah, because you did pretty little when he passed.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I really like this. Man, I can't wait for the new ones to come out. And then at my school, I would see an old newspaper. I was like, wait a minute, that was today's comic. Same thing happened with Hagar the Horrible. But I was like, wait, what? And then I had looked up and he's dead? No! I like this thing. It made me real sad.
To go even further aside, have you seen the Peanuts movie they did a few years back?
2015 one? I did not get to, no.
Okay. If you ever get a chance to, you actually should. It's a really good homage to the old stuff. I mean, it kind of weaves a bunch of it together. It's got a full story.
It's longer than 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie kind of gets his moment at the end. It wouldn't have been a bad conclusion if they were going to stop doing Peanuts things. This would not have been a bad conclusion for it. I mean, they're not going to stop, but And they did a good job of doing CGI that looked like the old animated and drawn style.
Mm.
I was surprised at how much I liked it.
But yeah, it's just two
in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's less of my favorite movie to watch at Halloween, and just two Halloween movies that are integral to me.
Mm-hmm. They're deeply.
I know these. I thought I knew these two were always going to be around. It's like the Campbell's commercial with the snowman that melts into a child in the winter season. That commercial's old as all get out, and it keeps on airing.
Yeah.
Because it's just a solid thing.
Mm-hmm.
They do exist. Yeah.
That one too.
Yeah, some of the Cadbury Easter commercials that they use year after year.
It's just something that I found very media integral. It's just that was a building block for Halloween. It's the Great Pumpkin, and Cartoon Network, which is much newer, uses Scary Godmother as a foundation for their Halloween schedule.
They must have gotten the rights to it cheap or something. Or their
Well,
parent
that
company owns it.
it's
Disney needs money.
when you're a kid, it's not a bad movie.
Uh,
Scary Godmother is entertaining when you're a kid.
and just as a correction, Todd, Cartoon Network is Time Warner.
Oh, I thought you meant the Apple getting Charlie Brown because Charlie Brown was on ABC, which is Disney.
Mm-hmm. Well, I imagine that deal was just up. Because it's some other holding company that controls all the peanut stuff. And just licenses it out. But on to our next movie. And I kind of like Taylor. This is two movies, but it's two movies that go right together. And for me, that is Halloween and Halloween 2 from 1978. I mean, technically, I guess the second one was 1979, but they were filmed at the same time. Taken together, I think they're probably... What was that?
I said that means this list has 3 John Carpenter films on it.
I was just thinking about that as I was launching into this. I guess the man knows his horror.
Yep.
I mean, with a few missteps like vampires.
I liked vampires, thank you very much.
You like a lot of really bad movies, Danny. It's it's kind of one of your core oh crap, what am I thinking of here? Aspects of your character.
Think how much money I have saved you by telling you about movies.
Oh, you have.
They ain't like this? Yeah, I'm good.
And you saved me money on comic books by saying how much you like The Punisher. I'm joking. I wouldn't have bought them regardless of your opinion because I just don't buy that many comic books anymore.
Anyway, back to my movie or movies. So of course, Halloween. You've got the Michael Myers. It was one of your very, very early slasher flicks.
My spouse's favorite.
I think it basically kicked off like the '80s slasher flick craze.
It did.
I mean, technically, the original Psycho would also kind of count as a slasher flick. But,
What Halloween did was it kicked off the kind of unstoppable slasher.
Basically, you kids better behave or this will happen to you.
Yep.
Well, no, it was just that it was the mass murderer that you couldn't just bust a cap in his ass.
Yeah.
Even though that's exactly how the first movie ended.
Wow, that's nice.
But of course, it had Jamie Lee Curtis. But my favorite character in it as a kid, I mean, other than Michael Myers, of course, you're there for the villain. But Dr. Loomis.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just really liked him as a child. I guess because he didn't have the typical kind of action movie vibe to him.
He reminded me of Kolchak.
I didn't know who that was at the time. Back when I first saw it. That was a show my dad would reference every now and then, or Mom would reference about every now and then. That was about it. Now, thinking about it now, he does harken back to some of the, Abraham Van Helsing type character, like from Dracula.
Yeah.
Where he was kind of the older guy that seemed to know a little bit more.
That for some reason nobody would listen to.
Nope.
Yeah.
But, in their defense, Michael had not caused any trouble all those years he was in the asylum. Yeah, he was a creepy mofo. But boy, the doctor seems freaked out about him. But, he ain't done nothing in all these years. And then when he decided to do something, well, then it got bad.
Shit, got bad quick.
Yep. But, how many people listen to a psychiatrist? The psychiatrist goes, this child I've been taking care of his entire life is pure evil.
Yeah.
Evil ain't usually the kind of term psychiatrists use.
He wasn't sick. He was evil.
That should have been a hint and a half that, wait a minute, what do you mean pure evil? Like, you're going to kill us all kind of evil? Get the bigger guns.
Yeah, but if you run in an asylum, you got all kinds of people that kill you dead first chance they got,
Yeah.
Now, that's one where you would look at that and go, okay, the doctor's been dealing with this kid for too long. Hey, doc, go,
Yeah,
move
the
you
way
over here.
Loomis thought, it was the doctor. It sounds like the doctor needs a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, honestly, that would just be a point of like, oh, why do you think he's evil? And then he pulls out the big book of weird that kid has said, and the fact that he's had no change whatsoever in the entire time. Just goes, look, he's just unfixable. Don't let it out.
In the original movie, they didn't go into all that. It was just he was just there, killing folks.
And you got the impression that he never said a word.
Yeah, that was the thing is, yeah, he stopped talking.
Yeah,
he wasn't saying weird shit.
Even in the novelization, Michael never said anything after. Once he started killing, he never said anything.
Yep.
It was always told from somebody else's perspective of,
And that movie came out young enough. I was young enough. I couldn't take the music. I can still remember the damn commercial for Halloween because they wouldn't show you. They wouldn't show you shit from the movie for real. It was the pumpkin.
Yeah.
And the pumpkin was slowly spinning, and they would play the theme. Carpenter wrote that too.
Yeah.
They were playing the theme as the pumpkin would spin around, and you could hear clips from the movie.
Oh,
but you didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that as a little kid, yeah, that shit would come on. I'm up under mama. Hey, you want me to do something? Damn Halloween. Ain't it? Maybe.
But one thing I really liked about it, when you take the two of them together, was that it told you the complete story.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I did not usually like my heroes dying. It's one of the things I didn't like about Them, which is a giant ant movie for anybody not familiar with it. Really good movie for its time period.
Really want a remake of that they just will not do.
Mm-hmm. But even as a kid, I liked how Loomis went out. That just struck me as, just kind of, I wouldn't have used the term badass at the time. But, you're an old, quasi out of shape dude, versus this unkillable, unstoppable killing machine.
He sacrificed himself.
And it's like you just kind of shrug your shoulders and go, well, this is just how I'm going out. Turn on all the oxygen valves at the hospital. Get the girl out. I just thought that end scene was great.
And just like, once Season of the Witch came out and they brought all that back, they brought Loomis back. He just had a burned arm.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember seeing that and going, I'm not buying this. I can't remember how good or bad 3 was, just in and of itself. But I know they just quickly went into the crapper after that.
3 in and of itself is not the best movie in the world, but it's no worse than 1 and 2. It's dated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's fairly horrific with the whole Silver Shamrock Company and hell, you put the mask on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was skipping over that. I meant the one they brought Loomis back.
Oh, Return of Michael Myers?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, by the time they brought Michael, where the first 2 started a genre, by the time they brought Michael back, yeah, you had Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, you'd gone into slasher territory. I think by that point they brought Texas Chainsaw back. Hell, even Psycho.
Yeah, they'd redone Psycho.
They didn't redo it. You just start having sequels.
Mm-hmm.
You had Psycho 2, where Norman gets out of the nut house, and you think he's killing people, and it's somebody trying to frame him, and then it ends. The slasher flicks of the 80s had started.
Odd bit of trivia: Psycho 2 was actually a novel entitled Psycho 2.
Oh, was it?
Yep. The woman, I think it was a woman that wrote it. I might be mistaken there. But yeah, the author literally, the movie company was like, "You ought to write another book." All right, fine, whatever. Psycho 2, because it's pretty rare that books get titled like that.
But yeah, the point was by the time Michael came back, yeah, the theaters were loaded with that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, but by the time the vanilla got put back on the shelves, there was enough of everything else that people picked their favorite flavor instead.
Yeah.
And all the flicks suffered as they got more, all the series suffered as they got more and more installments.
Well,
Well, with the exception of Friday the 13th Nightmare on Elm Street, the story was over. You know, the original Nightmare, yeah, it ends basically, you know, they ain't stopped Freddy for shit. Yeah. You know, it ends with Heather Living-Camp, well, Nancy, in a dream. So, and he snatches her mother through the door. Yeah, you know, Freddy's shit wasn't over. 2 was It got better with Dream Warriors and Dream Child and that stuff because you got something that could kind of fight him.
Mm-hmm.
Made it a little interesting, which, you know, Friday the 13th, my favorite one of those is the New Blood, where he was dealing with the telekinetic.
Yeah, yeah.
And the rest of them, they can keep. The New Blood is the one that the hell I actually went to go see that one in the theater. And we were sitting there like, yeah, that one's nice because, you know, rarely do you see a zombified mass murder with a what the fuck look on his face.
Bet you can make out through the hockey mask.
No, it's when it snaps the hockey mask off. Because she grabs it and it's pressuring him and the hockey mask splits in half and the skeletal face under there is like, like, you know, you a bad motherfucker when the undead killer basically, what the fuck are you? Damn unnatural son of a bitch.
But you talking about how the genre suffered because, you know, by then everybody had 27 different flavors. They kind of ran things in the ground. If you look back at the old black and white horror movies where, you know, you had the vampire, the werewolf, the creature from the lagoon, all that, by the time you get 4 or 5 down the row in them, you'd had you know, Dracula versus so-and-so versus such and such. And they, you know, after they all had their own little one-shot movie, they started crossing them over and, you know,
yeah, Universal did a lot of that.
In the ground.
What was the Dark Universe before they, you know, called it the Dark Universe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to put all these movies in the same universe. They always were, dude.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is why you had all those characters pop up in like Monster Squad and stuff. It was, you know, just easy to do.
Yeah.
Which was a great movie because you sit there, Wolfman's got nards, you know. And dude slaps the pizza on Dracula's face, got garlic on it.
Yeah. When I was young, my Halloween go-to movie was always Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. And the only reason I like that is because it had Dracula, the Wolfman, and Frankenstein.
Yeah. I remember seeing that as a kid with my dad, because Dad is a huge Abbott and Costello fan. So anytime they were on, Dad had them on watching it, and I sat down and watched that with him. And Costello, you know how he'd start doing it when he got so scared he couldn't talk. My dad would just roll laughing.
My mother was a big Abbott Costello fan, and I liked him as a kid, but I was always bigger of the Three Stooges.
Yeah, as far as comedy went, it was Three Stooges for me. Like I said, that was just one that when I was little, they would play that every Halloween, and that would be the one I watched. But it wasn't by Abbott and Costello because it had 3 monsters, the 3 big monsters in it. Mm-hmm. And I also like, you know, the fact that, you know, you actually had Frankenstein was kind of neutral, though Dracula was trying to use him. Dracula was the obvious bad guy. Hell, by the end of it, the Wolfman ended up the good guy because he's the one that was fighting Dracula. Yeah. And, you know, it kind of ended neat because Dracula tried to escape him by turning into a bat flying out the window, and the Wolfman dives out the window, grabbing him. And it's like, oh, that's good messed up.
Yep.
That's back in the Wolfman days when you looked like you worked in a garage.
Yeah, you know, they still have trouble doing a werewolf fix sometimes these days, so.
That's before that Howling shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Howling and an American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. My mom couldn't take the Howling. We watched the Howling. She was like, she didn't like the effects in Werewolf in London either. She didn't like, you remember when they start doing the thing where the skin would bubble?
Yeah, and the bones would break, everything.
She couldn't take that. She was like, I don't know how they doing that, but I don't like it.
I can remember.
Now imagine if she saw the transformation in Wolf Cop.
Huh?
I said, now just imagine if she had seen the transformation in
I
Wolf
haven't
Cop.
seen the transformation in Wolf Cop.
Wolf Cop's actually decent as far as effects, but I can remember when the Howling came out and it was going to be on the one of the movie channels. I was spending the night at my cousin's house. Well, my aunt had wanted to see it, but they didn't get a chance to go to the theater, so she said, "I'm going to sit and watch it with y'all." And that first scene where you see the bones start breaking in the person's hand and the change, my aunt was like, "Nope, I'm done." And she got up and went to bed. She couldn't handle that. Grossed her out.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my cousin sat there like, "Ooh."
Yeah, the Howling for its day was, you sat there like, yeah, that's shit. That's thing. There.
Yeah.
That was one they should have stopped. The sequels, garbage. Every damn one of them. Garbage. But that first one, that one was good. American Werewolf in London, I wasn't crazy about just because I like my werewolves as wolf men,
not just big wolves. Yeah.
wolf.
That was the only that was the only problem I had with that one as a kid.
The problem I had with Werewolf in London is how he would see the dead.
The dead, the people he killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, if they'd have just been,
That
he
was-
has
that was
seen them
hard.
as just ghosts, but how they interacted with stuff, I didn't like that.
Well, it had humor worked into it, despite being a really dark story.
Yeah.
That ends kind of tragic,
Well, to get it aired in some of the European countries, they had to have that humor because, like a lot of our slasher flicks, when they came out here in the States, they wouldn't air them overseas because it violated certain standards over
And that was John Landis. John Landis did horror-comedies. He was the one that did Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They would be horror movies, but they'd have a funny little core to them.
Mhm.
He wouldn't go. He's also the person that directed Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't go just purely a hardcore.
But, I can remember in the 80s when you had the whole slasher thing, there were certain countries that, they had
some spots in Europe where we were really picky over here about like nudity. You had a lot of the European countries that, nudity, whatever. But they'd be very particular about the level of violence and stuff.
Yeah, but it was a horrific violence.
Yeah, the horrific violence. That's like some of your authors that have chains of books. If they write, just pure horror, they don't hardly sell anything over in Europe. Over here, they sell gangbusters. Over here, you got a book that has half sex in it. Yeah, it sells fine in Europe. But over here,
that sells fine over here too. So I don't know.
Well, yeah.
And if you're talking about horrific werewolf changes, the worst one I've ever seen is it's a show you can see on Netflix called Wayward Pines. The wolf that he turns into, it's a dire wolf. It's a big old wolf. But the fact is, when they change, they explode out of their human body, and then the wolf eats the body pieces there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's a nice sick little twist.
Yeah, that was the one, and me and John were watching that and was like, oh my God! I can take the change. It's rough, but I can take it. But the fact that it stops and eats the pieces, that's
Waste not, want not.
That's some gross shit there.
Yeah.
Well,
Anybody got
that's just them establishing this is not a Twilight werewolf. You do not want you don't want anything to do with this thing.
Well, you kind of get the impression that they looked at that and said, yeah, we're going to make sure this ain't a Twilight werewolf. Almost like when the girl at Books A Million got me to read The Strain.
Yes.
You like Twilight? Hell no. Then you'll love this because these motherfuckers don't sparkle at all.
Yeah.
Well, we're 45 minutes in. I think it's time for us to wrap. Anybody got any, I guess, honorable mention sort of things?
The Mummy.
Yeah, I got a couple.
Which mummy?
Huh?
Brendan Fraser. The Mummy.
That's not a horror flick. It's a good flick, but it ain't a horror flick.
It's an action comedy.
Horror and The Mummy and The Mummy 2, I would still count them as horror. Because there is a nigh unkillable creature chasing them the entire time.
And it's a remake of The Mummy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is a remake. Well, but the original Mummy was for sure a horror movie in kind of the classic sense. Brendan Fraser was more like Indiana Jones, if he ran into more monsters.
Bullets.
But anyway, Todd, you said you had a couple?
Yeah. the It films 1 and 2, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and the one movie that actually scared the living hell out of me as an adult, and Paranormal Activity. The first one.
Mm-hmm.
The first Paranormal Activity bothered the fuck out.
Thanks to my wife, Jennifer, we have watched all the paranormal movies as they come out. They get, progressively more and more fucked up, and you're like, if you knew that this item was cursed, or you knew this person had this and this didn't work, why do you keep going around them? I'm sitting there talking to the screen, and she's just sitting over there going, I like this. What was wrong with you?
Yeah, you missed out because it was me, Jason, Patrick, was it John? Went to go see the first one.
I don't remember.
I know it was the three of us because we were all standing around in the parking lot.
But I know I was fairly new to my house at the time.
Yeah. That was when I was watching Thirds, because I'd gone on kind of like a horror movie run. Because I'd watched The Ring. The Ring, it kind of bothered me, but the trick is, I was like, well, hell, I work third shift. Something be up all night, so any damn horror movie I watch, I ain't got to worry about sleeping because I can sleep during the day. And I was great until I watched that damn thing, and then I start worrying about what the fuck was going on in my house when I was asleep.
Yep.
That was the part of that about that bothered me, was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on in this house no matter when I'm asleep. That's some bullshit.
You could have just gotten cameras set up around the house.
You know, my supervisor at the time was like, because I would watch the ghost shows and stuff, and he was like, you ever think about doing that? And I was like, no, because if I hear any damn thing other than me, it can have the house. I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple.
We had watched the first Paranormal Activity movie, and then, we go to bed. I'm laying there in bed. I'm like, fuck, I got to lay here and go to sleep now. And we still have two dogs, but at the time we had a lab shepherd mix named Bronson. And he would go to sleep on either the love seat or the couch. And then at some point in the night, he would get up and come into our bedroom, and either jump on our bed or lay on the dog bed that we had in the bedroom. And we're laying there, and I'm in that twilight, not asleep, not awake, because my brain is going, there's danger here, Will Robinson. And then all of a sudden I hear this. And I'm like, ah! And Bronson's standing on my side of the bed with his face at me going, hey, Daddy, are you okay? And I'm like, that gave me a heart attack.
That was the movie that made me grateful I was single. Because the bitch is the one gets fucking possessed. Hell, that scene where she throws him at the camera. Yep. I'm sitting there going, I'm nervous because I'm asleep, but the nice thing is, ain't nobody in this motherfucker with me because I've been looking like I'm trusted. If you get up to piss, we got a problem. I will give that dude points, though. He didn't do what I'd have done and left my ass. Oh, no, it's not the house that's haunted. It's me. Oh, really? Well, I'm going to McDonald's.
I'd be like, I'll be outside in a minute.
I'd been like a haunted house.
Yeah.
I'd have been about that month.
I can't leave. I got a mortgage.
Yep.
I guess my
what part of the house is haunted? Don't you understand?
For me, my honorable mention is going to be the Romero movies, the zombie stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
How did you beat Jason out to zombie movies? Shame.
Night, Dawn, Day of the Deads, respectively.
Heck, all the Romero stuff.
I did like the Amish guy in Diary of the Dead.
Yeah.
Which was the one that they did that had was it Diary of the Dead?
Yeah, Diary of the Dead.
I don't like that one.
The one that was shaky cam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one. I didn't like the one that had the city. There was a couple of...
Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead, yeah.
There was a couple of kills in that one I thought were just complete.
Because Land of the Dead Road to Fiddler's Green was a great game that shouldn't have been great.
Yes. That was another movie that they did a game off of that was great.
That had no reason to be that good.
Somebody put a lot more love into that game than the movie deserved, huh?
You played as a dumb redneck, and he was just the best.
Yeah. You could kill them with hammers, pitchforks, wooden poles.
You could learn a kung fu fist and punch them to the damn moon, It was a great game.
Nice.
I wonder if it's on Steam.
If you go in,
I have the CDs for it if you need me to find them.
my favorite's actually Zack Snyder's remake of Dawn.
Yeah.
I am not the biggest fan of zombie movies just because zombie movies, the zombies don't tend to be the problem throughout. It's usually zombies at the beginning, really, really fucked up people, and then at the end something goes wrong where they go, oh yeah, the zombies out there. Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, and I am not a Snyder fan of his Justice League and stuff like that, but my favorite movie is Dawn of the Dead because zombies were the problem at the beginning. Zombies were the fucking problem in the middle. And zombies were the problem at the end. He also was the one that gave you the fast, truly undead ones because 28 days later they were just infected people. These motherfuckers were dead.
Not that he invented that. Return of the Living Dead gave you fast zombies too.
Return of the Living Dead gave you zombies that were not completely shambling, but they wouldn't quite hauling ass.
When they rushed out at those cops, they rushed out.
Yeah, like I said, they were fast, but they wasn't hauling ass. They were not keeping up with cars.
Yeah. Now there's a sequel to that one with Ving Rhames in it, where he played. You know how in the movie he mentions, "I've got a
different
brother
director, different company." They just went and got the name of what the next movie should have been.
Yeah. But he comes back and he plays the brother at that location they're talking about in the movie. That one was pretty good.
I've heard that one was actually horrible, Danny. You were playing into your stereotype.
I've seen that one. It is horrible.
It's horrible, but it's actually
All right.
a good one.
We're about to take another 30-minute road trip.
All right, yeah, you're right. All right, so we're wrapping up here. If we didn't talk about your favorite horror movie, or you've got one you want to mention, by all means, leave it in the comments below. Email us about it at thenerdattornal.com. Nerd.com. That's the web address. thenerdattornal@gmail.com. That's our email address. You can find us on Facebook at the Nerd Eternal, Twitter at the Nerd Eternal. That's really all the places you can find us.
Actually, there are like 5 or 6 more, but
no, you haven't told me what they are. Some of them, and we don't actually do anything on.
Happy Halloween!
But you want to bring them up every time, I don't know. So hope everybody has a happy Halloween. And I guess we'll see you next week. Yeah, I'm sure we'll see you next week.